Hey, everybody. John Gums going live. Dakota Grappler just coming in for a wrestling update. We have not had an opportunity to talk wrestling for a while, and we got the biggest news. Basically, we're going to have Macy Kilty on. Hopefully, she'll be on in the near future. Some of you coming in for that show after a bit. But we do have NDSU's new head wrestling coach coming for this next year, Obi Blanc. Man, I talked to him one other time on here, and he's such a great person and just going to enjoy what he has to say. And I want to congratulate him right away. That's the first thing. And you're going to do great things at NDSU. We know it. You already have. I know that, but we're going to keep going. You got a good crew going there. Beside me over there, we got Bill, right-hand man. You know, we're just love wrestling. We did get through the U.S. Open. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We also, because NDSU actually had a couple guys placed there. And we want to probably talk a little bit about the Pan Am Games. And then I want to bring up the camps that are happening. Unbelievable number of camps. Going to focus a lot on North Dakota wrestling tonight. And maybe I'll do an update for South Dakota later. But want to introduce myself again. I'm Jon Gums. I'm owner and editor of Dakota Grappler. We try to get out and promote wrestling whenever we can. And Bill, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Bill Holton from Carrington, North Dakota. Just a big wrestling fan. I've been around sport a long time. Done everything from wrestler, coach, wrestling parent, now wrestling grandparent. So it just keeps on rolling. So just always love to talk wrestling and support the sport.
Well, awesome. And then we got OB down here. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Obi, and what you're looking forward to now with NDSU?
Yeah, like you said, thank you for having me on the show. I am Obi Blanc. Just finished my 4th season here with NDSU Wrestling. Just got promoted to the head position here, so I'm very excited about that opportunity. I'm coming this way by way of Florida. I'm a Floridian. Got pretty tired of that weather down there and said I'll try my luck up here. It's been absolutely amazing. This community here in Fargo, my family absolutely love it. Married, my wife is Christy. We have two little girls, and expecting one here in August on my wife's birthday. So some pretty exciting things happening overall. But like I said, very excited to lead this program. Had a great opportunity to help do some pretty cool things these past couple of years, and excited to continue to do the same thing and build to do some even greater things. Hopefully, we have some great young men that are going to help us do that.
Well, awesome. No, I used to sport an orange and black uniform yourself, so I thought when I heard the news that he left, I'm going, oh my, that's kind of back in your territory. You might want to be following with or doing whatever. So I was kind of mum's the word. I know they wanted to ask you guys to see what's happening, and I was very pleased to hear that you're staying. So what do you think about Kish? He's got great opportunities down there. You were kind of in that area for a while. What do you feel there?
Yeah, no, very excited for Roger. Roger's been tremendous. Great person to work with and work for. Very strong leader. Had an opportunity to obviously work with him and learn some things from Roger. And I think he's going to do a great job. He's very smart. And, I think people are going to be very pleased with what he's able to do down there in Norman. Yeah, definitely an area, part of the country that I'm very familiar with. Have a lot of friends around that area that even work at OU in that institution. So, it was that opportunity, was extended. But, for us as a family, we really, believe in what we're doing here and feeling truly blessed to have an opportunity to continue that. And so that's what it kind of came down for us as a family. We're very comfortable in this community and in the group of guys that I've had an opportunity to recruit a lot of these guys. And the bonds that we have created, and for us, we just weren't ready to leave that quite yet. And obviously, Roger supports that, and our administration supports me and our guys. So it's like I said, I'm on cloud 9 right now, just excited to get to work for the Bison.
Well, good deal, Bill. You want to ask a couple questions?
Well, the question is living in Norman or Fargo. That seems like an easy decision for me, but
hey, you gotta remember, I'm a cowboy after all.
I know, that's right. That's what I'm saying. You picked the right one. It wasn't going to Stillwater, right? It was going to Norman. So Well, no, we were obviously very happy to hear that. That's a, we've loved what you've done at NDSU at this point. Have you kind of solidified the rest of the staff? I assume, I shouldn't assume anything, but I mean, you've got a pretty good young staff there.
Yeah.
And kind of keeping that together or adding anybody else.
Well, so for us right now, the goal is to keep everything the same, as much as we can in terms of coaches and the student athletes. Some of those coaches have a couple things they got to think about as well, and so we'll get all that stuff really finalized here this week. And and should we have any departures, we're ready to replenish the ranks, I guess, right? Bring in some very competent individuals that can help us continue to build. We're ready to run with whichever way to win blows. We're ready to pivot and make the best out of everything and continue to serve our student athlete in this community. Yeah.
Good deal. No questions for you now as the year ends out. I know that NDSU is probably running into finals here pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
And your athletes. Do you have anybody graduating that that I don't know about, or anybody that's at this point, kind of at the end? I know like the Franix, he could probably has 3-4 degrees for all I know.
Yeah, Frantic is amazing. I'm like, dude, we might run out of degrees for you here. He's a phenomenal wrestler, as you already know, but he is a phenomenal student as well. And he exemplifies what we're about. We really believe in 360 approach. Like, why can't you be great at everything? Why can't you be a great student, great athlete, and also live a great culture and lifestyle around the community? And so that's what we are about as a program overall. That's what we recruit, and he exemplifies that to a T. So yeah, very, very excited for him. Like you said, he's tremendous, and so we're excited to have him for another year. As far as seniors, we have McGuire Midkiff, our 133 this past year. So he's graduating, but he's not quite done with NDSU or wrestling for this program overall. He's going to be around helping our student athlete in many different ways. So we're excited about that. And heck of a story, McGuire was a guy that took a year off during the whole COVID thing. And he's like, man, I got that itch to wrestle and compete. Came back and NCAA qualifier for us. And I'm excited to have him to pour back into the guys.
Good deal.
Yeah, that's great. Great to hear.
Yeah. No, so how about freshman recruits? Anybody you had mentioned that you're bringing in that you're going to see for the first time?
You mean wrestling for us right
Yes.
away?
Yep.
I'm not sure yet. Obviously, we got some guys coming in, unless you're talking about red shirts. But in red shirts, yeah, we definitely got some studs coming out of red shirt. And if you look at that group of, we had 10 guys compete at the U20 in Vegas last weekend. A couple of those guys did really well and qualified for the next step in that U20 world team process. But yeah, we got some guys I'm super excited about. Fernando Barreto, tremendous young man. Gavin Drexler, Max Peterson, Landon Johnson, Brandon Howes. Those are a couple of the names I think especially around the area, the guys are used to knowing those names. Walker Benz, Tanner Gerber. Some of the local guys that have been redshirting that I think, will have an opportunity to compete for a spot, coming off a red shirt here. I'm leaving a couple of names, I'm sure, but yeah, guys like, Sean Solis, Trey Thilmany. I mean, there are a lot of guys. We're always working. We're always working to make sure, that we're never going to forfeit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're going to have somebody out there to compete and represent us.
Well, I did, first of all, I guess we could talk about, young guys that have come into the lineup right away and make a splash. And Michael Caliendo is one. To me, it was just exciting to watch and really happy for him as the season ended up and look forward to seeing what he does in the future. And we actually have Jared and Michael coming to Carrington for a wrestling camp coming up later this summer. So that'll be that will really be fun. And I'll go back. You talked about Jared, and he really is the face of the program right now. And anybody that was at State Folk Style, that table where Jared was sitting, and he stood there and gave signed autographs and took pictures for I don't know how many hours, but it was a lot. I didn't get over there a lot because I was pretty busy on the floor, but every time I went there, he was busy. So I bet he was more wore out after that than he was coming back from the NCAA tournament, knowing Jared.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd rather go through a hard 2-hour practice or something. But I think he loved it.
I do. Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, just being a local guy that's able to give back, and for the visuals to have a guy like him who's a local guy where a kid that's like 5-6 years old can look and say, hey, that guy is doing some great things on and off the mat, and he's a great role model to look up to, and I think he understands that, and it's like, dude, if you can give, I don't know, 8 hours of your day, the potential return for this community or for that one person is tremendous, and we're blessed to have a guy that understands that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so we're looking forward to see what the next crop of young guys is ready to do, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yes, sir.
So you were in Vegas? Did you get to?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of the finals and the semis? I mean, I tell you what, I was intrigued. I had, of course, every possible match on, and I thought the competition level was really nice. The United States has got a really nice team, but I saw some comeback matches, which kind of surprised me, of a couple guys that took some big leads and come back, in the finals. So, kind of opinions you got on some of those guys heading into, the final X?
Yeah, I actually didn't get a chance to watch them live as we were doing our own thing. We got in and we had to get a workout in, get our weight stuff for U20, which was the following day. But we followed and obviously know a lot of those guys, especially the Wolfpack RTC guys and whatnot. And yeah, I was following along, and it was definitely this year I thought was one of the best U.S. Opens overall. And then the U20 I thought was one of the toughest I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, some of those brackets had over 100 guys, and everyone was good. Everyone was tough. I love where wrestling is at right now as a country. And seniors and the guys that are coming up. I don't think we can go wrong anyway, right? Mm-hmm. Every guy that's in the final X, either one of them can bring back home a trophy, and I think that's something to be proud of, and it's really exciting. So I'm just enjoying watching it. So
yeah, I know that there's other big things going on now with rule changes. I wrote that down as one of my things over here, and it just came to mind. Do you think the college wrestling will get to a push-out point?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's something I would be against. I don't know, but I'm not sure. I do like some of the ideas that they're throwing around.
3-point takedown.
I'm a big fan of that. I think it's the easiest thing for fans. I think wrestling has to continue to grow to bring new fans to the sport. And I think the easier it is for people to understand, I think the better it is. And everyone understands. Two people are standing up. One person takes the other guy down. Oh, that guy's winning right now, and it's exciting and things of that nature. So I think 3-point takedown is a great incentive for guys to go attack and go put points up. And
right.
And obviously I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that the idea that we are trying.
Right. College is leading the opportunities for change.
Yeah.
At least scoring wise, because high school has not adopted it yet. But I thought the 4-point near fall was huge.
Yeah.
So 4 at 4 seconds versus 3 at 5 seconds, is a big difference.
Yeah.
And a guy that can tilt somebody and get some on their back, I tell you what, it's a big opportunity for high school wrestling to change, but they have not taken the big step yet. And I think college is leading it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then, people are like, man, 3-point takedown is going to be tough for the top guy. I'm like, no, that we actually, one turn, you can get 4 points. You can actually score more on top than an actual takedown. So it's like really the idea is to incentivize action
And the riding for the turn, or else you don't get riding time.
I'm all for whatever makes the sport grow and more exciting for our fans, and obviously the more eyeballs we have on this great sport, the better it is for everyone. So yeah, I'm excited. I think in the past where wrestling struggled is that we did not adapt to the times. And so we had some issues with the Olympics dropping wrestling at one point. Really had to fight hard to stay in and make those adjustments. And I think that was a great wake-up call. And obviously, I don't want to take away from the purity of the sport by any means, but um, adding elements of excitement to where it incentivizes people. I think to create more action is great. I don't think it changes anything in terms. I think the best guys are still probably going to have the same results, but now at least it's like, you know what? I have a shot. If I get 2 takedowns on this guy, I have it's 6 points. I have a shot.
Right.
And anyways, I think change is good.
Yeah, I do. I love that rule set. If that's what all comes in, and I think it's great. I mean, I would love to see. To me, I'd love to see a step out. But I mean, we do get some real great action on the edge of the mat. But I guess the tough part there is the out of bounds calls, right? I mean, whether it's going to be an action call or a stalling on one guy or stalling the other, that's one that's tough for
anybody
to follow, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm not the most knowledgeable wrestling guy in the world, but I probably watch it as much, if not more, than anybody. And I literally have no idea what they're going to call when they go out of bounds.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. I just like, how do I not know what they're going to call? I mean, I think I know what they're going to call, but I'm not always right. So.
I think you hit it on the head there, Bill. I think the biggest problem is a lack of consistency. One ref might think it's this, where the other ref think it's that. And I think simplifying, in basketball, if you're behind that 3-point line, it is always 3, right? If you're in front of it or you step on it, it's always 2. Simple, right? And I think sometimes, like you said, that out of bounds, we don't know which way they're going to go. And I think I do agree, some kind of simplification where the coaches are on the same page, the referees on the same page. I think it's great,
Has to be a little more black and white, definitely.
Yes.
And then the other thing that I thought I'd hope they'd address, one of the final matches, or was a semifinal match, where we had about a 10-minute break with the throwing of the brick. And that one just disgusted me, that they couldn't figure out how to score it the right way in a certain amount of time. Like kind of like the old clock put on. Guess what? You can watch it so many times at 90 seconds, it's got to be done, or 60 or whatever, because the cameras are now, they're better than they used to be. Wrestling's really improved that, so you can see what's going on. Before that, cameras on the mat and all the other things, you probably couldn't have done it. But now that you can basically throw it, and you get your one opportunity to do it, or however it works.
Yeah.
But I wish it would be, freestyle. If you're throwing a flag, it costs you a point, or throw the brick.
Mm-hmm.
NCAA is not quite there yet.
I agree with you. I think that's one of the biggest momentum killers, in my opinion, is when these reviews take so long, and it can affect how the match goes. It can affect the crowd, all of that. And I think as we talk about action, we want to keep the action going and complete the matches and the event. And so people get going to whatever else they got going on, right? And I agree, a 10-minute break to decide, guys, rules they're not that hard. And I agree. I think that is something that we also need to streamline and make it make sense. I mean, guys, what are we doing? We need, with us 3 here, we can fix everything.
It's easy. This seems easy to me. Well, I mean, the match I remember the match, and I'm trying to think of which one it was. But I mean, you're about halfway through, and both wrestlers are like, "Let's just go again." Who can, the score is a score. Let's just get back to wrestling. They're kind of chatting in the middle of the mat. It's like
the 2 guys are visiting more than
this is crazy.
Well, actually, the amount of time the review take, if it took 10 minutes, that's 4 minutes longer than the actual match. So
it was that was the crazy one where I was actually, I think the guy it went against is the guy I was going for too, so upset me a little more. No, there's so much. I tell you what, I remember the days of when guys could stop and tie their shoe, and that got disappeared. I remember when guys kind of got that mysterious bloody nose, and then having to worry sometimes about blood time, which they've kind of gotten rid of it. They don't have really blood time in freestyle. I've only seen it maybe once in my career where someone's been DQ'd by blood time, but little things, the concussion is a new thing, and that time is different. Injury time still kind of gets me a little bit. The minute and a half is not much time to address any injury. If you have to tape a sprained ankle or do anything like that, if you don't have somebody there with a trainer right away to do something, I'm not sure. That's the only one that kind of catches me sometimes. I saw somebody that in a high school match basically could have been taped up, and it was done before they could have taped it just a little bit, but that's how it goes. No, so how about this? You have a young family. Now you say you got 2 girls.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the next one coming?
It's a girl. It's a girl. I'm working on a Girl Dad Hall of Fame status here, guys.
Well, girls can wrestle. That's good.
Yeah. No,
They'd have to start a girls wrestling program at NDSU.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah. No, so what are the opportunities there? I know D1 level girls, it's still minimal compared to where D2, NAI, and NCAA stuff were. What's it looking like for that? The addition of more women's teams at the Division I level. Talk, you're kind of around the coaches.
Yeah, I think we all love wrestling, whether it's men's wrestling, women's wrestling. We love the sport overall, and I think in due time you will see continued growth in terms of the Division I programs, adding it. But at the moment, I don't necessarily have like data and things that say, hey, there will be X amount in X amount of years, and I think it's a matter of institutions continue to work within their constraints to provide those opportunities. But I am, I believe it will continue to grow over time. We are a resilient sport and always battling for, our opportunities, and we'll see what comes of it. But I'm definitely on the positive side of things.
Mm-hmm. I see the growth in our city big time, just in the kids programs, and it takes a while because you think of getting to the D1 caliber, it takes a lot of girls to wrestle at that level, and it takes another commitment. Not that we don't have girls ready for that, but I'm not sure if we have teams at that level yet, and it takes a while to develop that. And I definitely see we're getting there, but we might be a few years out yet.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is it's like, hey, it's better now than it was 10 years ago. And it's better now than it was 20 years ago, even so it's the trend is good. And like I said, I'm very happy about the way things are trending, and I think more opportunities will definitely come about. Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can just talk about the state of the sport a little bit. The state of North Dakota, I know that they set another record for USA Wrestling memberships this year. North Dakota USA Wrestling, and of course, the girls have a lot to do with that.
Right? Oh yeah.
I mean, so it's awesome. I mean, everything is kind of going in the right direction, right? We talk about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and when programs are going the other direction, and now we're adding men's programs, we're adding women's programs faster than we can come up with coaches, to be honest with you. Yeah. But that'll work itself out. But yeah, so it's fun. The sport's in a good spot.
I would agree.
Well, I'm going to transition to something else just for a second. You can, of course, I want to show, before we get too far into this, all the camps that are going on. And then we'll show NDSU, of course, has their camp.
Correct.
To the right screen for this. Let's go like this. It's the old technology I haven't used for a while. I added it and I lost it again because I double clicked it. Okay, so North Dakota, this is the most wrestling camps that I've seen in the state of North Dakota in my lifetime. I mean, there's might be more than this. I have 18 that I had found. North Dakota all over, and I don't have them on a list yet. So people that are watching this, I'll put a calendar together and then put all of these camps in one place on Dakota Grappler so you can catch them all. But of course, we know Terry and Troy Steiner, they'll have a couple camps. They'll have one there at Cheyenne and West Fargo. And then let's go to the next one. And of course, featured here in Pembina, you got, of course, Jared Franek going up there at the end of June up in Walhalla. Have you ever been to Walhalla, Obi?
I have not. I have not.
I'll tell you what, you're as close to God's country as possible if there's a place in North Dakota.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, you're basically right in the edge of you wouldn't guess it was North Dakota when you got up there. If you ever get a hold of Sean Horgan, he was the old wrestling coach who'll take you into the gorge. It'd be a great place. You'd be phenomenal. It actually has trees there and stuff too. North Dakota doesn't have much of that.
Yeah.
We have another one out in Ray, North Dakota, which is kind of interesting. Takedown camp, Chase Pammies, and then that one kind of surprised me, but that's the end of May already here. Getting a takedown camp going. They got a lot of growth happening up in that Tioga, Ray, the other side of Williston, some Class B schools really putting the time in and trying to get wrestling going. And you really see the benefit of those guys is how hard they're working up there. There, of course, Elite Camp there with NDSU. That's June 8th through the 11th at the Benson Bunker Fieldhouse there. And then this is one in Devil's Lake, North Dakota Legends. It's having one up in Devil's Lake, and I'll put these out there, some of these posters. Here's one that I didn't know was happening either. This is the Mandan Wrestling Club till this last week, and they've got Coach Krause coming in with that one. And I've seen some of his stuff many a times. He's an aggressive, tough coach. I've seen him a couple different times. He's very good. They'll have fun. I like how he says no lunch provided, water available. I got a kick out of that one right away. There will be water there for you. And then, of course, Bismarck St. Mary's featured wrestler here, right there on the front of the University of Mary's camp happening there in June. Some of these will cross over, but like I said, I'll put it in there. And he wrestled really well. He had a great season this year, fun to watch. Kindred has got a wrestling camp. Luke Melmer, St. Mary's wrestling coach, who was the main clinician there. So Kindred, just right on the other side there of Fargo. Then we have Kenmare has a girls wrestling camp, and that happens June 22nd. And got Tyson Springer, coaches there, going to be also, very good, coming in as clinician. And we got Jamestown, Jimmy's. They've got Nick Simmons. He's coming in. That should be a good camp there. And I see the date on that. That's also June 25th through the 28th. And then Jamestown, the high school, July 13th, and with Kyle Berwick in there doing a camp. He's got to step it up another notch, the Nebraska transition. Then Owens has got a SC wrestling camp that happens. Also, Rob Owens, the camp director, going to figure out what's happening there. I do have some information on that one, too. That's June 20th and 21st. Gorillas have Ridge Lovett and Kyle Berwick coming in. Some Nebraska boys. That's in the beginning of June 9th and 10th, I believe. Yep. And then got the Gorillas Girls Only Camp, which is July 14th and 15th. And that's got Sophie Smith and Felicity Taylor. That looks like a nice camp for the girls. Another one. Then we have, this is actually in South Dakota when I got in there, DWU, Dakota Wesleyan Girls Camp, just to make sure the girls have another one. That's at the end of June, beginning of July. So it's only 17 then in North Dakota, I think. Here's Carrington Girls Only Wrestling Camp, and there's Macy Kilty. And Bill was telling me her brother actually plays football at UND up at Grand Forks. So that's kind of interesting. And that's in the middle of June 14th and 15th. Then you got the Carrington Wrestling Camp. That's Jared Franek and Caliendo, who I really was impressed on how he brought it at the end of the year. I didn't see a guy that was nonstop more than him and Franek as the year went. That was a great group. Now, how much do they wrestle in the room?
Yeah, quite a bit. It's pretty fun. Probably should get a camera on those guys and charge people or something to watch them go. But yeah, no, it's fun.
And that's at the end of July, actually. That one is for those guys going into August. So we got that. Then we got Berwick Southwest Wrestling Camp down in Hettinger. He has one all the time. Ridge Lovett's going there, and Kyle Berwick's also there. Got lots of information for that. So, man, we have tons of camps that are going on in the state. So those that are watching have an opportunity to get some experience and some mat time. You guys take advantage of that. You know, we try to promote everybody, and I don't know.
That's a lot of great camps coming in with some great clinicians, and that doesn't even include the North Dakota team camps that are the teams that are going to Fargo or going to Tulsa. So boys and and girls both. So there's a lot of wrestling to get done. It's funny. We were just talking. I think that I kind of think I've been in the room every day. I mean, every week at least since October, until this week. And we had a wrestling banquet for the Carrington Wrestling Club this weekend, and we were kind of talking about that. It gets to be a long season, and this club is the biggest it's ever been. There was like 93 kids in a small town here, and so it was fun to see. And not all of them were there all the way to the end, right? And not all of them were there in October, and they shouldn't be. I mean, but there was an opportunities for kids to be there all the way along. But the chances to keep wrestling throughout the summer are, I'm sure Obi would agree that is an important, time of year for these kids to keep getting better.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. No, that's it. I mean, that's a lot. It's good to see all those opportunities. I think that the summertime is one of the best times for development, where kids aren't really worried about making weight to compete. And, you get some time to really focus on that development point, both technically and mentally, right? So that's pretty good.
Yeah, some of the lifelong friends I've made throughout my life were at wrestling camps, and just having something that is, a common goal, and you don't have serious competition going on at the time. It's a learning opportunity.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is about where I'm at, Bill. Why don't we talk about anything else you want? Like, we got the Pan Am Games that just went on. We have lots of things. Bill, anything you want to?
Yeah, well, I do have one question. It just made me think of it as we were talking about. Obi, growing up, were you able to come and wrestle at Fargo?
No, I didn't. I did not start freestyle really until college. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
You caught on to it, okay?
yeah, I did. It did all right. Yeah, I think my first time in Fargo was when I volunteered to coach with Team Florida for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I would say about 5-6 years ago.
Awesome. So where at in Florida did you grow
up? Naples, Southwest Florida, right there in the Gulf.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And who's the main competition for you guys down there? What are the teams that battle?
So I went to Laley High School, and Naples High, Barron Collier. I mean, it's a big football area. But yeah, I was lucky to went to a place where I had my high school coach, who I was very close with, and we talk on a weekly basis. And he wrestled at Michigan State, and he was a phenomenal wrestler back in his high school days, like wrestling with Dapper Dan and all that kind of stuff. He was very good. So I got lucky and had some very good coaching between my high school coaches overall. So it was kind of nice. As I did get in the sport a little later, and it really helped me make up the time.
How many classes does Florida have? 3 or
3? Yep.
Okay, how about like a Bradenton, Florida? I think they were the ones that had defeated Bismarck High's dual streak record at one time.
Yeah. So when I was competing in high school, Brandon was the thing. Yeah, Brandon was definitely the school that kind of ran everything for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, they were tough.
Yeah, definitely. So how about recruiting wise? Do you have somebody in mind that's going to help you out, or more coaches or anything that way? Are you going to be? You do?
Yeah, I do. I got some high powered individuals I think are really going to help us do some great things, and gonna get them out here to as soon as possible. And like I said, we're not looking to wait around. We're looking to get going and keep things rolling pretty smooth. Yeah,
I don't know what last time you were on if we talked about it, but how did you get involved in wrestling? The start of your wrestling career? How old were you? And
I was bribed.
you bribed?
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, no. So my freshman year in high school, Coach Andretti was a PE teacher. He tried to get me to get into wrestling. I was an athletic kid, and had him as a PE teacher, and it's like, and I was small, but had a good bit of athleticism, and it's like, hey, you should get on the wrestling team, and things of that nature. And I don't really know much about wrestling. At that time, I only knew WWE and WWF, stuff like that, right? And so, I think I'm good. Sophomore year, I had the same teacher for a different.
Oh wow, you didn't start till late.
A little later, and I had him as a PE teacher. It was one of those classes where one day you're doing activities and another day you're doing book work. And I was like, man, this is terrible. Who wants to like sit here and read about basketball and rules and this and stuff like that? So I didn't particularly like that part of it. And then one day we're sitting there in the class portion, and he's like, hey, if you go and tell the wrestling coach that you'll go to practice today, you just check it out. You have the rest of the class period to do whatever you want, as long as you don't disturb anyone, right? So I can listen to music. That's all I want to do anyway. It's like, listen to music, and then the bell rings. So anyways, did that, went up, talked to the wrestling coach. Hey, my name's such and such. I'll be in practice. It was on a Thursday, and great, we'll see you, went back, listened to my music. We had CD players and stuff back then. And went to practice after school, tried it out. And, I was like, oh, okay, I see. And to me, it's funny because like, I didn't understand anything else but the takedown, right? Like we talked about earlier, it made sense. You don't have to wrestle to understand what getting taken down is, right? So, okay, went over a couple stuff. We tried, and I was obviously terrible. And then I went back and where I live, get a couple of my buddies. Hey, yeah, I know this is what they do in this wrestling stuff, right? Let me try some of this stuff. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday had my first wrestling match. It's a JV match before the varsity, of course. And I'm telling you guys, it was the longest wrestling match in history. According to me, that's oh man, that wrestling match, was it like 6 minutes in high school? It felt like it was about an hour and a half. And, extremely tired. You're not in wrestling shape. I'm terrible. The kid's not very good as well, but we do our thing. I think I was like one penalty away from getting disqualified, like too many false starts and lock hands. But I end up winning the match. And I just remember that having my teammates and coaches cheering me on and things of that nature. I was pretty much hooked from that point. And and I stuck it out, and the rest is kind of history, I guess. And continue to get better. And I was just really like, hey, talk to my high school coaches. How can I watch more of this wrestling stuff and see what it looks like? He'd give me like the magazines and the Win magazine, USA magazines, the tapings for like the NCAA tournament for like the finals. And I'm over in my living room trying to emulate this stuff and copy it, just trying to make up. I was doing like stance and motion in the backyard and, just doing like the little stand-up drills in between commercials, just trying to really catch up as much as I could. And as the season went on, I got better and better and continued to progress and end up winning like the districts and the regions and made it to the state tournament. And I was a wrestler from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's a great story, Obi. I tell you what, I grew up with it. It was second nature,
Yeah.
And I see a lot of kids, all it takes is sometimes one little thing, a little encouragement.
Yeah.
And you can hook somebody and being positive about it. And if they want to learn, feed it. It's like feeding somebody that's hungry. They'll take it all in and keep going and going. And look at now, you're a D1 wrestling coach.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's great. It's one of the best stories ever to reach this point.
Yeah.
Not just have the first national champion for him.
It's crazy because
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just blessed, like I said, to be in a position where I can have the impact, like the coaches from all the way back to my high school days to college and through these individuals, they change the trajectory of my life, and then I get to do that with for other people, like these guys that I've coached. It's funny, like I still talk to and in counsel, and it's it doesn't have to be about wrestling. It could be about in buying a house, getting married, all sorts of different things that we continue to talk about well past the wrestling careers, has expired.
Yeah, it shows you probably how your coaching philosophy will be too, where hard work pays off, and sometimes that sticking to something, to the T, and just until you get it, it's one of those things. Having persistence.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
Awesome, great story.
No, I've had lots of different coaches on here, and you're the first one that probably, there's very few that start as, freshman, sophomore. A lot of them are family, family, a brother grabbed them, a dad, a grandpa. So that is awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like you said, I think for me, a lot of those summers, it made such a big difference. I remember my first summer of just going to like little local tournaments and stuff. I didn't even have a singlet. I'm over there in gym shorts and t-shirt, and just getting matches and competing. And while all the kids are at the beach, I was like, hey, I got to make up time. And I would use that as a motivator. I'm like, man, the guys in my area or the guys over at state, they're probably at the beach hanging out right now. And I'm working, I'm training, and that little things like that in your mind that help you feel like you're getting that competitive edge. But definitely the summers were huge for my development, and not only that, but I think just doing it, something I think that really helped me was I wasn't necessarily always waiting on somebody to tell me to do something. If I thought it made me better, I just did it. It might look stupid, it might do whatever, as I'm doing like hand fight drill against like a tree, as I'm circling around it and hitting it and using my hands, and somebody's like, that guy's got some issues. As they drive by, maybe, but ultimately, I this can make me better. Do it. I don't have to
be told.
Yeah, I don't have to be told, or I don't have to do it like the next guy. As long as you feel like it's feeding you, and mentally is more important than the physical sometimes. And if you feel like you're an animal in your head, and your body's going to follow when you go and compete. So I would say that was maybe one of the bigger things that really helped me was just take initiative and don't care what it looks like to other people as long as it's helping you progress.
That's great. Well, I think you've gone through my questions before, but I'm going to give you these questions again and see if we can, some of them, put some new ones on the list. I got to get my little banners up here, but call it the rapid fire questions.
Oh boy.
And these rapid fire questions, most of them, of course, deal with wrestling stuff. And then we get into little stories sometimes with them. So it's pretty good. Okay. See if we can go through this real quick. Favorite after weigh-in meal?
Oh boy, favorite after weigh-in meal. I'd probably oatmeal. I always like to get something warm in my belly. You know how it is after you start eating cold. Yeah, I like to get something warm. Oatmeal or bagel and stuff like that were my go-to.
Something light. I always liked something light, but I had to have something. I couldn't eat the big meals by any means.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it like to be coached by you if asked by your wrestlers?
I don't know. That's it's a very good question. I mean,
have you had to be the bad cop versus good cop? Or are you the?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a bad cop versus good cop. I'm more of a try to get you to see the perspective. You know what I mean? Try to make it make sense for you, because what makes sense to Caliendo or Franek.
Logic coach.
Yeah, for sure. My goal is to help you be able to solve problems on your own, I don't want to be the coach that's trying to teach you wrestling while you're wrestling. Like, hey, I might point out some things. Hey, he's stepping hard with his right, or hey, he can only shoot you a left leg, or hey, little things like that. But other than that, when you're out there, man, you got to be able to solve problems on your own and be able to execute and trust in yourself. So I really try to help guys understand why they should do something, and I really believe if they understand the why, the action part follows. So I really work on things of that nature, and it's a little different for everybody, but yeah, definitely, because I think that also gives them the confidence to know, like, hey, I can do this. I can solve problems on my own and get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Gatorade.
Oh,
Gatorade Powerade.
I might start a next World War here or Civil War here. But golly,
What
Gatorade,
color is nothing else?
Gatorade is good and all that, but gosh, I feel like I like that blue Powerade, but I'd have to go with maybe Gatorade just because of the variety. You can't beat the variety. Yeah.
Okay. A little slow on this. Here we go. Popsicles or dilly bars?
I don't even know what dilly bars are, to be honest. This is where I bring my kids and my wife. Like, hey, what? This is where I would phone a friend if I was.
Well, that's pretty good because what's interesting is it's like ice cream bars. All dilly bars. It's just from Dairy Queen. That's all.
Oh yeah, definitely dilly bars. Yeah.
Okay. Give me 3 characteristics that all wrestlers need to have.
Mental toughness is number one. Whatever that means. It doesn't, it can be mental focus, it could be whatever, just your ability to stay calm during all the chaos, and stay focused, right? So that's number one. Self gosh, I'm trying to think what the word is for that. Being driven, being self-motivated. I would say being self-motivated is definitely something you have to have. It's got to matter more to you than the coaches, your parents, whatsoever, for you to succeed. Discipline.
Okay.
Got to be disciplined. So I would say some kind of mental focus, mental toughness, having discipline and being self-driven. Definitely.
Awesome. Are you a mama's boy or a rebel?
I'm a good kid. I'm a mama's boy, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball or NFL?
NFL. Yeah. I love baseball and everything. I can watch a game at the ballpark, but golly, I don't know if you can sit me through a TV a session of it. Yeah, but NFL.
What NFL team?
Let's go Patriots.
Oh, Patriots.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't start out that way, but a guy on my team he got me to convert right before Brady took on. Got me to convert over, and it's been pretty cool.
That's good. Fast paced or consistently slow?
It depends what we're talking about, but I think anytime you put consistency in anything, it's attractive to me.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Are you a physical or mental athlete?
I'd say mental.
Okay. Which athlete would you rather have?
Oh, mental.
No, definitely.
I think it trumps everything. If I mean, you have guys that are physical, like they can jump high, run fast, do all that, but if they're not mentally tough in a wrestling match, they'll gotta wear you down.
They're not going to go very far.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
okay,
Christmas, it's not even close. It's not even close. Oh man, Christmas is awesome. Just thinking about. Look at how excited I am.
Yeah, I see that.
Good, yeah, definitely Christmas.
Dan gave Sanderson.
Man, golly, man, they're both
Old school and new school.
God, they're so yeah, definitely different, but it's the same. It's the same, and it's a little bit of pioneers in what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, I don't know if I can pick. To be honest, I'll probably.
It's too tough. It's a pass.
just because if you look besides the wrestling style, are doing or have done it, it's very similar if you really pay attention. Just doing it slightly different ways. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it's tough. But yeah.
Yes, somehow to coach national champions, and not just the individuals, but team after team, and find a way to do it. I don't know. There's so many other distractions that can happen, and to still get it done.
No.
Okay. Favorite number?
9. I don't know why.
It sounds like 3 takedowns.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Best wrestler you've ever wrestled?
Best wrestler I've ever wrestled. Golly, that's a really good question. Probably maybe Basic Kudakov.
Okay.
Yeah, we had an opportunity not compete, but like wrestle against each other, like in
thriller in the room. Yep, practice. Yep,
roll around, and that was really fun, really cool, and I mean, just blew my mind a little bit. Just some of the things that we worked on, and like, golly, I'm fast, but this guy's pretty darn fast too. But yeah, he's probably one of them.
Any habit you learned in wrestling that you still do today?
Probably shake it out. Yeah. Probably shake it out when it's like a tense and one of these. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Every time you hear the national anthem, that happens, right?
Yes.
I do too. Yep.
Yeah. You start shaking your legs, shaking it. Yeah. That is. Didn't do that before wrestling.
Yep. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Which show would you be on? Storage Wars, Survivor, The Voice, or Jeopardy?
I would love to be on like Survivor. Yeah. If it was like the Voice, I'd be off quick. guys, we're shutting down.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah.
Cat, bird, or dog?
Let's go with dog on that one.
It's a Bill wants to see all the time. Bill's a big dog guy.
Yeah, for sure.
If you could have been a fly on the wall in some other coach's room, whose wrestling room would you have spied on?
It's probably easy. Penn State does a good job right now, but heck, with the way the landscape is these days, you probably want to be flying any wall. But anyway.
Yeah, I tell you what, and then the last question. Do you have any major coaching philosophy that you think you can bring to the NDSU wrestling team?
I think the idea of really being the best individual you can be, aside from wrestling, I really think if you work on yourself as an individual, as it regards to how you carry yourself around town, around this community, in the classroom, I think it all bleeds back into your athletic, right? The things when we talk about discipline, hard work, consistency. I don't think you can only do it in one place and be successful. It's hard. I seldom see guys that are like very undisciplined outside of their sport, or at least in this sport, and be undisciplined with their diet or with their sleep, or different things like that, with their relationship, and have success. I think eventually some of the bad habits they bleed back in, and you don't ultimately achieve what you want. So I think it's really about being the best person that you can be, and having gratitude through all of it. And I think I really want to help my guys have their conscience clear when they go to battle, have their conscience cleared. Have I done the work? Have I been disciplined and consistent? Not only in my training, but in everything else. I'm not worried about my class work right now while I'm in this tournament on a Saturday. Worried, oh man, I didn't do something I was supposed to. No, my conscience is clear. I did everything I'm supposed to. Now I'm in this environment, ready to compete, ready to have fun, and that's all I'm worried about. So for me, that's really big, and that's something I want obviously these guys to have now, but to carry on through the rest of their lives.
Well, awesome. No,
Absolutely. Hey,
see how quick those rapid fire questions go, and
They're fun.
get a lot of good information. It's worked out well over the years doing it.
Yeah, I love it.
No,
yeah, Obi, one thing I just want to touch on is the way you just talked about that, right? That we kind of look at that wrestling's really a dry run for life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and how you do just about anything is how you do everything, and that's just how it all bleeds together. And I think that's a great philosophy, and we're gonna see a lot of success coming through that program, continuing and ramping up. I believe so.
Well, thank you.
With that philosophy. So
Thank you very much. And I think I saw a couple people. It went up.
oh yeah, I did it real quick.
But
Jim,
thank you, yeah. Oh no, Coach Mikowski there. Thank you, Jim, and thank you guys, and for obviously having me on, and everyone that's supported me and my family, and I'm just very blessed to just be a steward of all this, and just giving this chance and opportunity to lead and go to work for this community and our student athletes. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Tony Fugelberg, we asked this one earlier, but he's asking women program coming. Yes, I know he's just about all the women's program stuff.
Yeah. Hey, one thing at a time, right? I'm like, man, I got to get a full coaching staff, yeah. But obviously, something I'm very excited to continue to work with our administration. They're very invested in the sport of wrestling here at NDSU, and there are some really cool things in the works here. But it's like, hey, it's going to take a little time as we work through stuff. As you know, it feels like as the years goes on, we're busier than ever. I'm like, man, why does it seem so busy? Like 10 years ago, I wasn't this big. You know what I mean? But our administration is continually working, and there's a lot of facets that goes on for that, obviously wrestling, but there's a bunch of other sports too that we're also trying to be great in as well. So just working through everything. But like I said, there's going to be some very exciting opportunities for this program overall. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. It's last minute, and man, I couldn't believe I even caught you through your email. It was like, gosh,
you got lucky.
I'm gonna give it a shot, and you responded right back.
Yeah.
And I do really appreciate it last minute.
Yeah.
We'll stay in touch, and as the year goes next year, I'll have you on again, and we'll visit some NDSU wrestling as you get going before the Bison Open or something.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, I was literally like, man, I need to check my emails going, yada, this. And I'm like, just trying to catch up. And I just saw it. I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'd love to. So definitely, like I said, I'm glad I was able to be on, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back on it at another time.
And I like the unicorns in the background. No.
Yeah, and the stars and all that stuff. Yeah. She's probably charging me rent right now. Who knows?
Probably, yeah.
Will, some last words for Obi?
No, I just I wish you luck, and we're gonna be around the program. We'll see you around the summer, I bet, in Fargo, and good things will happen next year.
Thank you very much.
Betcha. Thank you very much for coming on. Bill, do you want to talk a little bit more about wrestling going on?
Well, we, probably the biggest things we have coming up now, besides all the youth camps.
If you want to, you can stick around.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I'm probably going to get going. Got to finish some other stuff. But again, thank you very much, gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your evening here.
We will. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, really the only thing that, obviously we just come off with Great U.S. Open, which we talked about with Obi. I couldn't even, if you were going to compare it to, any other U.S. Open we've had in the past, I don't even know where you'd compare it to. It was awesome. So we talked about that a little bit with Obi, and then we had Pan Am's men's team had 9 gold medals, 1 bronze. Pretty good squad went there. That's something you don't see every day. Women's have been looking good. Greco's look great. So, and I would say, I think the Pan Ams are not like going to the Worlds, but those guys are all there to compete, and we're traveling, to another country. I think it was in Argentina. Yep. So, that's good for those guys to get that experience of just traveling, getting ready. A lot of those guys will be wrestling in Final X.
There's an event before Final X.
Yeah, the World Team Trials. So
World Team Trials. Yep.
So there's still, I think, a couple weights that they're looking for a second.
Three.
I think it'll be 90. It'll be 92 and 2 and heavyweight. I guess we never have talked about probably the biggest thing that happened at the U.S. Open when Gable came back and wrestled.
Dominated,
and dominated. I mean, he took the guy that had one of the most dominant seasons we've seen in all of college wrestling in the last year,
Mason Paris,
and destroyed him. Like they just weren't on the same level. So that is what's one of those things that's pretty crazy. I mean, he looked better, he looked bigger, he looked faster than ever. So
yeah, those are the men's and women's Final X right there. We just put up on the screen.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, so you have let's see, World team members. So it's 61. We're looking for another spot. So the World Team Trial there, World Team Trial at 92. Now I did hear Zahid Valencia went up to 92, so he actually could win that weight. It wouldn't be surprising. And then at 125, so that'll be, I would assume it's Gwiz or Paris.
Yeah.
So that's your Final X. I mean, there's some great matchups in there, like there always is, right? That Thomas Gilman and Zane Richards. Zane Richards keeps getting better every year since he's got out of college. Vito's looked fantastic. Looked awesome at Final X. Looked awesome at the NCAA's. So those will be
U.S. Open,
I mean at U.S. Open and at NCAA's. So it'll be. I don't know who will come out of that bracket. Maybe it's Seth Gross, right? It could be.
Yep.
Could be DeSanto again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And then in the women's, the one that kind of surprised me, there was only one major match, but that the women's looked pretty good at the U.S. Open too. Several of those weight classes, but the one where I'm trying to think, what's her name, got beat. Gray.
Helen.
Madeline. Yep. Madeline.
Yeah. Gray. Well, I mean, she had twins like 11 months ago. It's crazy. And but she's gonna wrestle. She's wrestling at the World Team Trials, so there's still a spot open there. Okay. So that'll be interesting. But that weight class is really, really tough. Deep with young wrestlers. So Kennedy Blades looked really good. There's a lot of good young talent at that weight class. So you give Helen a couple more weeks of getting in the room and actually she'll be wrestling at home. That's kind of close to home. So the other one that if you just look down there, Helen Maroulis actually lost in Pan Am. So but she'll be at Final X. Don Paris there, Hildebrandt. There's a lot of good ones. Macy Kilty, obviously, 65 kilograms. She'll be wrestling at Final X on June 10th and coming to Carrington the next week. That's kind of a normal thing. They come right from Final X to Carrington, North Dakota. So next year we think maybe it'll be, David Taylor or, one of the others that wants to come in. But yeah, so, there'll be a lot of great matches at Final X. And I think they're looking at four that need to come in at the World Team Trials.
Yep.
Through there. And then, excuse me. And then Greco, I think there'll be one for every weight. So, there'll be World Team Trials will happen. And then a couple of weeks later, it'll be Final X. By that time, we'll be kind of getting ramped up for junior duels and then Fargo.
Yep.
And then all the world championships will happen in the fall. So
yep. So we had a little bit of break in there, but we got
there's never seems like a huge break, but it's got to be almost golf season if nothing else.
Well, that's what we got to tell Jimmy. We got to get together in golf too.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Well, he's been playing. The rest of us have to work. So, but he's been playing.
Yeah, he's probably going out every morning, and I've been out once, and it's actually in a dome.
Oh yeah.
Golf down a simulator in a dome. Yep. So I've swung the clubs once. But no, everybody out there, we just did a quick update show, and now try to get those camps out on the website and get them promoted so that we can get as many people as we can, get them some opportunities to get some wrestling in. But yeah, phenomenal. I haven't talked about, of course, the junior camp and all the other stuff that they put on to get ready to go to Fargo and get ready for the dual team. So got lots of wrestling opportunities. Bill, any last words?
No, hey, I think that wrestling in the state of North Dakota and South Dakota are both at great spots. I think we got a number of college programs that are on the up and up. They just keep getting better. We got great college coaching staffs.
We'll have to add more. We'll have to do another show in a few weeks here and add what's happening in South Dakota. I know Northern had a couple guys wrestle. Turnquist wrestled down at
US. Yeah, Wyatt actually had a pretty good tournament. He was short of placing, but close. I think he made it to the blood round, and he looked pretty good.
I watched one of his matches. He won.
Yeah,
one he lost too, but
yeah, he wrestled hard. It was good to see him there. And Landon Fisher went 0-2, but he wrestled tough. It's good to see those guys compete the off season. We mentioned Jim Makovsky. Matt Cato had some guys there. Yep. Obviously Brandon Metz was there, took 5th in Greco. He's on the staff over at Minnesota State Moorhead. So yeah, it was good to see those guys wrestling in the off season. But
I'll give Bruce Moe a little shout out. He wrestled in both divisions, but he took 2nd in, I think, Greco with the 2 of them.
I think so. Yeah.
Didn't fare so well in freestyle at that this time, but always nice to see. I tell you what, I don't know if I would want to strap on the shoes again and get out there and wrestle much. Not in a tournament. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting, but we just want to say congrats to him too for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, thank you again for coming out, watching the Dakota Grappler. Come back and we'll promote wrestling some more, and I'll see you out there. Take care, guys. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to mention. We did have a great we didn't talk about the folk style and Triple Crowns. Those are out there too. A lot of congratulations to all the kids of wrestling that are out there. A lot of great Triple Crown winners all across the state. The club of the year, I think, wasn't that the Minot?
Yeah, Minot. Dakota Grapplers.
Just wanted to mention that real quick. Other than that, I know that the Gorillas will be opening up their facility here soon. I should see. So Bismarck will have another brand new facility. Gorillas is opening. And then the last thing, as I'll let you guys, the last thing for the night is going to be, the rumor is BSC, Bismarck State College, will be having a wrestling team, not this next year, but the following year. And so we got to find out more information. That is the biggest rumor out there, starting another program in the state back up again. And they should have idea for coaches and things, but that's for the 2024 year. And they'll make an official announcement, I believe, June 5th. So pay attention there. And we'll talk about that some more too. Okay. We'll leave you with that, guys. You guys have a great night and take care. Later.